This is Thomas at Guardline Electronics, and today we're going to be going over the basic features and functions of the Jacob Jensen wireless doorbell system. The first thing you're going to want to do with your setup of the Jacob Jensen wireless doorbell is remove the back plate of your push button by removing these 4 screws and taking the plastic strip out from between the 2 batteries located inside. That will allow your push button to activate. With the plastic strip removed from in between the 2 batteries on your push button, it is now ready to send a signal. The only thing you have to do to pair your Jacob Jensen push button to the receiver is to match these 4 dip switches in the push button with these 4 dip switches on the chime. That will allow a signal to be sent from your push button to your chime. With the dip switches inside your push button and chime now paired and ready to go, the next thing we're going to talk about is your melody selection. Now there are 5 melodies you can choose from, and you can change them inside the push button right under your dip switches. Number 4 is the setting you're going to want to use for the hearing impaired, as it is a low frequency tone. The next thing we're going to look at are the additional functions located on the inside of the chime. The 2 functions you have on the inside of the chime are your volume, located here, and your LED display located here. The volume factory default is off, so you will want to make sure that is on low or high before you begin testing your chime. There's also the LED option, which when switched on, will give you a visual confirmation on the front of the chime when the push button is pressed. Now that your settings are in place, you simply want to test your system out by pressing the push button. Everything's working fine. That visual confirmation means that the LED is on. Now if something didn't work here and you didn't get the confirmation noise or the LED, we're just going to want to turn both these over again and do 2 things. 1, make sure these dip switches on the push button and on the chime are in the same position and that your volume is turned on. Your Jacob Jensen chime can either stand upright on your countertop, or if you choose to, you can mount it using screws, and there are 2 screw holes in the back there for it to be mounted. Your push button can be mounted with screws that are provided, or an adhesive strip which is not provided. If you choose to mount using screws, there are 2 holes in the back plate that the screws are going to go through. Before mounting your back plate for the push button onto the wall, you first want to note which side is the top and bottom to avoid frustration later. The bottom is going to be the side where the mounting pegs are closer to each other, and the top is going to be the side where the mounting pegs are further apart. Now that the back plate to your push button is mounted on the wall in the correct position, the next step is just to click your push button onto the backing plate. Now for this, it does help if your backing plate is screwed on really tight to the wall. It'll be a lot easier to put this on and remove it. To install, simply place the pegs over the holes on your push button and pull down. And it's as simple as that. Your push button is now on the wall. If you'd like to remove it, you just do the same thing in reverse, grab it at the bottom and push up with a little bit of force. Comes right off. 2 things to keep in mind when setting up your Jacob Jensen wireless doorbell system is going to be the range and the interference. Now the maximum range for this product is 450 feet, but depending on the type and amount of physical interference in between your push button and chime, that amount will decrease. And the most likely causes of interference are going to be metal door frames, metal doors, reinforced PVC doors, and close proximity to other wireless electronic devices. If after initial setup, your Jacob Jensen wireless doorbell is not performing as expected, there are a few troubleshooting tips to go over. Number 1, you want to make sure each device has fresh batteries. That is the easiest one to check. Number 2, you want to make sure that the volume on your chime is turned on. As we went over earlier in the video, the factory default is off. Number 3, you want to make sure that the dip switches inside your push button and your chime are aligned. And number 4, if those don't work, you can reset each device. The reset button in the chime is located to the right of your dip switches, right there. And in the push button, it's a little smaller, but it's located to the left of your batteries right there, and you should be able to press that with a paper clip or a pen. As always, thanks for watching, and if you have any additional questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to leave them in the comment section below or to click on the link provided to contact us.